G'day again, YouTube. This is a quick update on the min-maxing version of the Sentinel of Purity and Dominating Blow build. We went ahead and invested a bit more currency into it. I want to start by saying the original 10x version can do everything in the game perfectly fine, and there is absolutely no reason to go this far. However, if you want to invest even more money, this is how to do it. I will also be restarting, I think, in solo self-found with a life variant of this to see how good it can be on a very small budget in like league start or solo self-found scenarios. So that will be interesting. But for now, we've spent nearly another 20 exalts. We've just about doubled our overall damage. Just about doubled it. I think we're at like 9 million Shaper DPS now or something like that. It is disgusting. So what we've done, I will link to the actual guide that this is an update from down the bottom. So if you haven't seen that, that's the starting point. This is only going to cover the updates from there until this point. So to start with, we got a +1 maximum number of Sentinels of Purity helm enchant, and we've fandangled that onto an Elder base, which I will explain how to do in a minute. But in it, we've rolled minion damage and +3 minions and 5% reduced mana reserved. That was done with just bound fossils and is relatively easy to craft. And when I say relatively easy, I mean like I would expect to get this helm within 30 or 40 fossils. So again, not budget, but relatively easy to make. Now I've got my Herald of Purity, melee fizz, multi-strike, and brutality in that. So it stayed with the same links, but swapped out one link has been swapped for minion damage, which is pretty much the same, and it's gained +3 levels. This has let me 6-link Dominating Blow, which is now Dominating Blow, melee fizz, multi-strike, fortify, brutality, and feeding frenzy, which is very, very much sped up our map clear, because Feeding Frenzy is insane, and making them all aggressive and just run all over the place has been really, really good. It has also let me drop our whatever it's called, the thing that I had in a 4-link down here, the little guy who chases you around, Holy Relic, that's the one. It's let me drop Holy Relic entirely because I'm getting my Feeding Frenzy buff, which I needed to do, because now I've still got Convocation, Clarity, Precision, and Flame Dash. Now we've got Blood Magic, Flesh and Stone, War Mana, and Maim support, which means I now run Flesh and Stone in Blood Stance, which I wasn't always doing, which gives me an extra juiced up Maim for all of the physical damage that my guys do. We've had to move our Purity auras into Shaper's Touch, and that means I've had to get one corrupted with +2 level of socketed auras so that our Heralds become level 23. So that they still give me all of the max res. So I've got 83, 83, 84. Still not chaos res capped, but honestly 55 has been fine. I haven't had any problems. But that now I've got those 3 purities and skitterbots in there. I've got a +2 duration implicit on a Prism Guardian that was rather cheap. The +2 auras is very expensive, but the +2 duration is very cheap. And since I have Val Haste and Val Discipline, with both have duration tags, they've received that buff. Pride misses out, unfortunately, but I wasn't going to pay the exorbitant prices for the +2 aura ones when I could just get +2 to Haste and Discipline. So we've done all of that, and that has... There's one other change we had to make, which was getting a blind jewel. We needed a chance, minions have chance to blind with attacks jewel, so that we still have the blind as the defensive mechanic. And I've had to pick up one jewel with mana reservation on it. So I picked up this one. Now it was very cheap, and getting a like ghastly jewel with mana reservation on it was very expensive. But we had to remember that strength and intellect and mana all turn into energy shield on this build. So getting something with some strength and some mana and 1 mana reserve was still really good for our energy shield. You can see we've made it over 10k. This is the rest of the tree, which is largely unchanged. We have dropped Death Attunement, and we don't have Fearsome Force anymore, but that's fine. We've come in here and grabbed all of that energy shield, and that is pretty much the build. So there's one other thing I could do to push this a little further, and I might do it in the next few days, but I will not make a follow-up video. The other thing I could do is I could get another Circle of Guilt and put it on and drop, I would have to drop Clarity or Convocation, whichever one you like less. I will probably drop Clarity because I really like Convocation. But you'd have to drop one of them, put another Circle of Guilt on, and that would allow you to free up enough mana that you could craft a suffix Aspect of the Avian, which I could put on my helmet, or I could get a pair of rare boots because 170 energy shield and move speed is all I'm getting from this. So I could put Avian on the boots. That would be as far as I would ever take this, because we're already looking at what's close to a 30x build now. And while we're getting a lot more damage and a lot more defenses out of this version than we were getting out of the 10x version, even if I was to invest another 70 to 80 exalts in this, we would only go up in power by about 15% from here. So this is really the pinnacle of how much you should ever invest in this build. It doesn't have infinite scaling in the end game if you continue to push and push and push and dump more currency into it. So this is about the ultimate we can get that's cost efficient. So the helmet is a big thing. The +1 number of Sentinels of Purity is huge because Sentinels are a very, very, very large chunk of our damage, and just straight up getting an extra one is like 25% more damage for them, which is huge. But I couldn't get them on an Elder base, and they had to be on an Elder base to be able to 5-link it. So I needed an item level, I think it was 86. Yeah, 86 for +3 minions, and then it needed to be Elder to be able to get minion damage. However, there are no Elder Exalted Orbs. So what I had to do was go with, I can't remember if that's Crusader or Redeemer, whichever one has the 5% reduced mana reserved roll on it. I went with that one just in case I hit it. And I bought a helmet that was 86. It doesn't have to be a Hubris. Any energy shield base is fine. You can see we don't really get a lot of energy shield out of it anyway. So as long as something's got energy shield, just any amount, it's fine. As long as it's an ES base or an ES hybrid base. So I picked one of these up with the enchant. Then I exalt slammed it with an influence type that I can't remember which one that is, the white wing one, to make it influenced. Then I picked up any Elder helmet. Then I Awakener orbed and sacrificed the Elder helmet into this one to keep this helmet's item level and enchant, but then make it Elder influenced. Then we took bound fossils and spammed them until we hit minion damage and +3 level of socketed minion gems with the reduced mana reserved suffix. Now, all three of those things are very likely to roll with a bound fossil. So getting all three of them together was just a matter of slamming a bunch of bound fossils at it until I hit it, which was not that many, and it was not that hard. However, the helmet enchant on its own, when I bought it, was 2x and is now 8. I can only assume because the supply is so small and the people watching my stream all went and bought one because a bunch of people are following this build now. So they've gone and done that, and now they're 8x. So you're looking at 8x just for the helmet enchant, and then an influenced exalted orb, and then an awakener orb, and then spamming bound fossils until you hit what you want. You can see this is not in the budget realm anymore. In calling the build to begin with a budget option at the 10x cost was already a bit of a stretch. So this is probably as far as I'm going to take this build. I will play it for another day or so because I'm really enjoying it, and then I'm probably going to restart and make a life version and see how good I can do on a budget league start version of this. See what I need and what I don't need, and that will be interesting, and that will also get uploaded to YouTube. So if you're interested in following that, there'll be another video soon. I stream every single day on Twitch, links are below. And that is pretty much it. I hope everybody has been enjoying this build as much as I have. It is disgustingly good. I'm really enjoying it. I will see everybody later. I am BalorMage. See everybody later.